very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm fortunate to work in philanthropy, a word that literally means love of mankind. The love of which is that which is human. It comes from the Greek, philos meaning loving and anthro meaning human being. It is a lofty definition. I have to say I almost prefer the Wikipedia definition. It's much more practical. Private initiatives for public good, focusing on quality of life. And the way in philanthropy that we usually address the public good through private initiatives is through nonprofits. So maybe to Jarrett's point, I have a little quiz for you. Taking advantage of my time at the podium. Approximately how many nonprofits are there in the United States? You can shout out answers. 1 million. Any other answers? 77,000. Go ahead, one more? 500,000. There are 1.5 million nonprofits in the United States. There were more, and then the IRS several years ago made everybody re-register, and about 400,000 fell off. As many as 100 nonprofits are created a day, kind of particularly like before the crash. What percentage of nonprofits have annual revenues under $500,000? 90, I hear 80. Close. 75%, 1.1 million, 75%. So, and you know, most of those organizations do not have revenues of $500,000. They're much smaller. Many of them, for good reasons, little leagues don't need, huge operating budgets, scholarship funds, but others are really struggling to get bigger and are not able to do that. What percentage of the US workforce is employed in the nonprofit sector? 20%? 13%? 5%? It is 10% in the United States and growing. What's very interesting is here in Massachusetts, the number is 15%. Not surprising in a lot of ways, but we really, particularly here in Massachusetts, the nonprofit sector is a driver of growth. And overall, 6% of GDP is generated from the nonprofit sector. So given all this, you've heard all day about the amazing opportunities in the nonprofit sector, I'm sure about innovative, interesting jobs that I haven't even heard about. So the next thing I have to say will probably come as a bit of a surprise. I have a controversial proposition for you. That if you want to change the world, work for a company. Ooh, I have a fan, we got one. We'll see, everyone else takes a deep breath. Here, let me go back actually. So why do I say this? Nonprofits are the soul of the US economy. Business is the heart that's pumping blood and energy through the organism. And business gets a really bad rap these days. People think of Enron, it's easy to think of the bad things that business does, but those chairs you're sitting in, the boots I'm wearing, the coffee cup that she has, the purse you have, those are all made by for-profits. Without companies, there's no paychecks, the government doesn't get its revenue, our nonprofits don't get gifts from individuals, they don't get gifts from government, they don't get gifts from companies. So I want you to think about it, and we have another quiz. How many businesses are there in the United States? 3 million. 5 million. You have a lot of answers here. Go ahead. Anybody else? One more? There are 30 million businesses in the United States. 29 million. I was amazed by this number. But what is really interesting too, just total sidebar, guess what percentage of these businesses have a payroll, like have any salaried staff? 20%? One more? 78% have no staff. Lots of people start businesses. My sister started a bakery in her house, she did it for a few years. A lot of people have hobby businesses. There are other reasons to have a business. So most of the work of business, as the 80-20 rule in some ways applies here as well, is by 8 million organizations. 8 million firms are really driving that economy. So what percentage of the US jobs are in the for-profit sector? I told you 10% is a nonprofit. I know this is Harvard. No answers? 82%, because don't forget there are jobs in government. 8% government, 10% nonprofit, 82% in for-profit. What size company do you think employs the largest percentage of Americans? This is very interesting. Everybody who paid any attention to the political campaign last year is going to say small businesses. These are your options. So it's all in how you define small business, right? The way the SBA and many people define small business as companies with 500 or fewer employees. That seems a little funny to me. I think people, most people think small business, they think mom and pop store, they think small, 10 people. 500 people does not sound small to me, but if you add them together, so 54% of these quote-unquote small businesses do drive the economy, but 46% of jobs are in these big companies. So I'll give you 3 reasons to consider business, especially for those of you who are early in your career. It looks like I lost one of my animated pieces. But the first is money. You have an opportunity to, in terms of salary and benefits, to make more money in the for-profit sector, which you can then give to any nonprofit you'd like. And I can't understate the benefits piece. When you're young, if you start saving for retirement, the power of compounding is such that you save $10,000 at 23 years old. I mean, I can't tell you exactly what it's going to do, but it's going to get really big. And the second is you have an opportunity to push community engagement from the inside. And so each of you, in your interviews, when you're in as an employee at a company, you can say, what are we doing for volunteerism? What are you doing in terms of community giving? And when you ask those questions, and millennials have really transformed this landscape, companies listen because they want to retain and employ the best people. There we go, number 1. And number 3, but you can build skills that you can transfer at any point. You can, both as a volunteer or in the for-profit context. And if you think about many of the jobs, the cutting-edge jobs you heard about today, most of those people who started them or are working there came from the for-profit sector. So I leave you with this thought. Do real and permanent good in this world. There's a little irony in me offering you this advice, because I'm offering you my road not taken. My career's been in nonprofit. I sort of snuck through the back door into corporate America, which is a surprise to everybody who knows me, and I've really enjoyed it and learned a lot. And so this quote, does anybody know who this quote's from? Andrew Carnegie, one of the best capitalists and best philanthropists the world has seen. He gave $300 million of his money, tried to give it all away 100 years ago. When he retired, he was the richest man in the world. And we've all been to libraries. The public library system is due to Andrew Carnegie, a steel magnate who also gave back. So I wish you all the best with whatever path you choose.